So as you can see, the mud flaps that's on here really isn't as much protection as I'd probably like. So lucky me, I found a mud flap on the road the other day that fell off a truck. Picked it up, threw it in my car, and then I brought it home. So what I ended up doing is I've cut it down. I actually cut it down a couple times because I made it a little bit bigger a few times than I actually needed. So this will cover the area a lot better. I think I'm going to trim this here off on an angle. But yeah, you can see the size difference in the mud flaps. And this one actually, once I've got it bolted on, it looks a little better. It covers the width of the tire. And I think that's going to be a lot handier. So I cut it down a few times because it was just way too big and way too much weight. And was sticking too close to the springs and everything. So I started off with it a bit higher originally, and then it was a bit wider originally. So I had cut these two because they were in the bottom of that mud flap. So there was a gap about like that far. And then I started cutting them down. So right now, I'm to the point where I'm going to cut this one back here to match the other one. And that should give me at least a good starting point. Get a foot on this so it doesn't go anywhere. Because that's the last thing you want is for something to slide away any while you're working on it. Like it just did. Continuing on. Yeah. That's not where I want that, but grr. I should have put the thing on the other side. Let me try that. There. Should be able to save that. I ran off the line when it slid. That's what I get for trying to film stuff at the same time. Alright, so if this ends up looking super sketchy, that's largely because it is. So just so you can see what's going on here. I just put this on the edge so the weight holds it down a little bit. And then, I'll start cutting it. There are steel belts inside of this, so that's what the extra noise is. This is kind of harsh on the blades, but oh well. Done. All right. So now I gotta height size this one the same way, and then I'll cut my line off there. All right. Same deal here. Start off a little slower on this one. This one's a little bit more of an angle. And yes, I am cutting toward myself, and that's a bad idea. But I'm far enough standing back. I'm not going to accidentally get myself. Alrighty. Alright, so now I've laid these things face to face. I'm just going to do a little dot in there, dot in there, dot in there. Yep, they're there. Now what I'll do is I'm going to punch the holes through with this thing. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see these little silvery dots or not. But I get this thing in here, line the dot up in the hole, which I have to face it toward the sun so I can see it. So you're not going to see it 100%. And then, boom, got my hole. Just got to get my piece back out so I can do the next one. Same deal. Get it through. Once again, I got to pick it up where I can see it because I really don't want to get these holes wrong. I mean, it could. Not going to kill me. But it'd be swelled to get them as close as possible so I don't have to mess around with this later. This one here. I wish the sun would help me out a little bit. There you go. All three holes are in there. In case you're wondering, yeah. This is not your average hole punch. Okay, so I've got some random bits of hardware. So these are gonna do. I just need to find 3 more of these. These actually came out of a bed we just took apart the other day. This is why I always keep hardware. I was gonna try these guys originally, but they were just way too small. Right. I was going to do backing bolts, or backing washers rather. I don't think I'm gonna need them because these guys have a pretty wide head on them, and they're designed to bite in a little bit. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. The thing is, I can always do this again if it doesn't work. All right, lock. There you are. I was starting to call it for you. Little devil, thread locker gets away from you. I'm sure everybody knows how that goes. And this stuff here, I'm gonna be sure to spill this all over my hands like everyone else would, because that's just how this goes. Between this and anti-seize, I don't think anybody's ever worn any more stuff than this. All right, so I'm going to do this. I'm probably going to need both hands. I apologize ahead of time. That's just how that's going to work. Get my thread locker undone here. Set my bolts down on the spring. You can't see this because this is happening off camera. Put the thread lock on each one of these. And I'm going to seal my thread lock back up because I know how that works. I'm going to set it back on the spring so I can lose it, because we also know how that works. All right. Get you in there. Get you in there. Get you in there. I got my Allen key for the other side. Just going snug with this stuff. I don't think it needs to go crazy. Matter of fact, I'm positive it doesn't need to go crazy. Good. All right, let me get you out of here. All right, so that'll do the trick. One more to go. So yeah, anytime I have any kind of random projects, like when I took the garage doors apart, these are from the old wooden garage doors. Believe it or not, I use these every once in a while. I was going to use them on this project, but I found these guys instead, and I won't have to trim them off. And thankfully, I have enough of these kicking around, and they got a little Allen head on them, so they don't look terrible. And then I'll just have to find some washers to kind of match the other ones. And I'm going to need both hands again. That is close-ish enough. Alright, 1, 2, 3 of you little fellas. So on the surface, all this hardware is going to look the same-ish. Alright, that's you. I had to see who was looking for here. Alright, so we're doing the same thing. Just want to get these punched into the holes ahead of time here, so I'm not fighting too much with it. Let me get it up there. Lock tight. Yep. 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 Tight out. Once again, leaving that on the spring so I can probably forget it later or lose it or something. A dip on each one. It's actually a lot more than a little dip, but hey, this stuff's cheap and it's gonna work. I'll be right back. That was the wrong size bolts. Hi, I am back. Did I say bolts? I did, didn't I? Alright, I meant that was the wrong size nuts. Got the camera under the fender here, so don't say anything too colorful.
Want lunch?
Yeah, that's pretty good. You want lunch is probably yeah, that's YouTube friendly.
I think
a little bit of a pinch on there. I don't want to tighten these down too much because I don't want it acting like a hole punch. Go right through there. Put the nut on the back side because I just don't want it spinning. But generally, once these start to feel some sort of grip, they will stop anyways. And the last one I just realized is going to be a bear because that is directly behind the gas setup. So, tighten that nut down as much as I can. Just bring the fender down a little bit. Didn't realize that one was going to be so tight. Tight as in just difficult to get to it. Hardware. Alrighty. That is that. If I feel like it, I might lop that off later. I don't know. I'm also planning on doing something up and over here, so I may attach to that to go up and over with something. I don't really know. But yeah, that's good enough for government work. Ooh. You guys knew I was going to forget that too, weren't you?